This is BAJAclan at the Workhouse Prison Museum in Lorton, Virginia, approximately 20 miles southwest of Washington, D.C. This is a very interesting facility. It was originally a prison that was built in the early 1900s to house men that came out of the D.C. correctional system. It was a working farm, the idea being that these men who had committed relatively minor crimes such as petty theft, public intoxication, failure to support their families, disorderly conduct, could be rehabilitated by working outdoors in a farm environment. The prison rose to notoriety in 1917 when the women's suffragist movement kicked off, or I should say escalated, in Washington, D.C. Women of fairly high-born families that were well-educated began picketing the White House for the women's right to vote. The women were subsequently arrested for obstructing traffic and imprisoned here at the women's facility in Lorton. Prior to this, the women who had been incarcerated here had been incarcerated for sentences such as soliciting, prostitution, disorderly conduct, vagrancy, and public intoxication. And now you've got these high-born women mixing with these common criminals. Needless to say, both the families of these women as well as the general public was appalled at the conditions that they were forced to live under here. Rancid food, food full of worms, no blankets. The women continued to protest from the prison by going on hunger strikes and were force-fed. And in November of 2017, 33 guards beat and brutalized the women prisoners that were here. I believe it was about 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later, 1920 or so, the 19th Amendment was indeed enacted and gave women the right to vote here in the United States. The prison was later decommissioned in the 1960s and was derelict for any number of years until the early 2000s, when the local Historic Commission and the local Arts Commission joined forces and began to revitalize the prison. They realized that it would make a good, outdoor living, history museum, if you will, and that the dormitories that you see here could be utilized by local artists as studio space and gallery space. The facility here is also used, as you can see by the tent, for events. I believe they have an Oktoberfest event going on here tonight. They also have a haunted house, I believe, going on for the rest of the month as well, given that we're in the month of October. So I'm just strolling down through the outdoor walkway here, past any number of the dormitories that you can see are now being used as gallery space. You can't, they're open for visiting, but you are not allowed to film anything, obviously, to protect the artistic talent of the artists. The prison is also adjacent to the Northern Virginia Regional Park called Occotober Park. Huge park, great hiking out there. And behind the buildings here, another, I don't know how many thousand acres are also owned by the Fairfax County and being developed into more parkland, more public space, bike trails. There's an equestrian facility out there. There's also a Nike missile site on the grounds as well. So lots to see and do here, and I will say special thanks to my clanmate Jack Sparrow in Berlin, Germany, for placing this POI here for me to cap on a near daily basis. Thanks, and Munzion.